Alright, Void. Here's another one that I swore I reviewed already, but this one I'd even watched after I had switched over to reviewing everything. So I really have little excuse, as I composed the review in my head a couple times. I guess I just didn't set down to record it, which is a little embarrassing, odd. I don't know what have you. Let me see. Black Lagoon. Now, this is going to cover all aspects of Black Lagoon, which is what I've tried to do when I review a series, unless there's a reason not to. So this will be Black Lagoon, second season Black Lagoon, the second raid, and the OVA that followed, Black Lagoon, Roberta's Blood Trail. So, the original Black Lagoon landed in 2006, and I believe it was pretty quick thereafter that the series continued. I'm trying to see if I can quickly pull up when the next one was. Actually, it was just later that year for the second barrage, so I think Roberta's Trail of Blood was a little bit after. Okay, yeah, that one was 2010, so it took 4 years before the next chunk to come out. Okay. But it is also one continuous story, so the thing runs about 31 episodes total. Since Roberta's Blood Trail is only 5 episodes. Now, this is essentially if you take a gritty 70s over-the-top exploitation, gritty crime series and turn it to an anime. This movie's got grit and sleaze all over it, and it kind of makes it awesome. Black Lagoon is over the top in all the best ways, and it is a very enjoyable series. That said, it's definitely not for everyone, because it does go to dark places and hit some very dark notes, particularly starting in the second season, so you have to be ready for that. I mean, first season gets you ready with over-the-top violence, smoking, drinking, swearing, and just general unpleasantness. But the second season just hits hard right off the bat with psychotic the kids that are, I don't know, between 8 and 12 that have been sexually exploited and are now over-the-top murdering psychopaths. So, the series goes to dark places, and you have to be ready for that. Otherwise, it can really knock the wind out of you. Okay, so the series focuses around Rokuro Okajima, a white-collar businessman who gets, well, kidnapped by pirates. Pirates from the south, I think it was the South Thailand Sea area. Royanapur is the main area they're working out of. Anyway, and as his company is just essentially going to willing to just give him up and not really care about rescuing him, he takes that personally and ends up joining the pirates to get back at them and then becomes a part of their crew. Going from ordinary businessman to, well, pirate. Essentially, they're criminal delivery people in a city where anything's legal as long as you can get away with it. So, yeah. And the series is a lot about him coming to terms with whether he's one of them or not, or how far he's willing to go. Particularly as he begins getting an attraction to Revi, I guess she'd be the muscle of the group is the best way to put it, as she's dual wields pistols with terrifying efficiency, and is pretty much legendary in the city for it. So, that said, she's had a very tough life, and the series does go into that. But she's able to essentially deal with that by drinking and shooting a lot of people. So the series is doesn't have a big overarching plot. It's mostly just him dealing with the situations as they come up and adjusting to his life. So it has a weird, almost slice of life aspect of him. Just okay, here's another mission. See how you deal with it in these extreme circumstances. Because there's not like one long overarching plot. There's a few things for him coming to terms with it, but it's weirdly a character study than any main action plot. It's a bunch of smaller ones strung together. And overall, the series does maintain a high, excuse me, then high energy, and it keeps you hooked. So, Black Lagoon, I'm giving a 7 MacGuffins too. It's definitely not great by any means, and the series, I will say, does occasionally go a little too far, but it is definitely well worth the watch. It's pretty much considered an anime classic. I know Revi herself she's a famous character, and most people have at least heard of Black Lagoon. But it's definitely been then it's a much older series now, which is weird to think of anything that came out in the 2000s. But the series is getting close to 20 years old, so not everyone nowadays may have heard of her or given it a chance. So I definitely highly recommend it. If you love over the top action, this is definitely the way to go. It does that very well. All right, so 7 MacGuffins. See ya.